What about the Riverton racecourse? Can you remember any trains going to Riverton from Invercargill or possibly from Tuatapere?
Yep. These in the early days they used to have there'd be 3 race trains
In one day?
in one day. Yeah, there'd be one from Tuatapere, and then there'd be one from, or 2 from Invercargill, and they'd stop across from the racecourse, and you'd walk the half-mile across the paddocks to.
Okay. Was there any platform there, or just sort of
No.
just you got off the
there
train?
was the usual wayside halt.
Yes.
Tai bush, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
And was Riverton a very popular station, like for picnics from Invercargill? And
But most of the people in the after the war, picnic trains to Colic Bay.
I was Colic Bay more popular than Riverton.
Yeah, much.
Yeah.
Because you see, Riverton, there's no beach.
Oh,
You
you
can't
can't
go around
go by at a beach, yeah.
Here was
Nice beach,
Colic
yeah.
Bay is only a few hundred yards to the beach, the shelter beach.
Yeah.
And so Colic was more than Riverton.
Mm.
But I remember that, the 2 trains at Colic Bay in one day.
Really?
Yeah, there'd be a picnic train from Ohai Nightcaps, Tuatapere area. There'd be a 20 carriage train, and then there'd be another one from Invercargill, clashed the same day.
Oh yeah.
And of course that give them big headache because there's no room for the engines would have to go on to Oropuki to turn.
Yeah.
And one train had to take his carriages with them and dump them off at Pahi or somewhere else.
Whereabouts did the station building from Oropuki go?
Never clue.
No.
If I remember rightly, it finished up, it was the local fire station.
Oh yeah.
It was, and then later on they built a new fire station.
Which I think it says in the Ghost Railways was near the school, but we didn't find it today, but never mind.
And did they run specials down from Nightcaps and that to Riverton, or just mainly from Invercargill?
Oh, well, Riverton, as I say, wasn't a destination.
Wasn't it? Just Colic Bay.
Yeah.
And do you remember Thornbury having an island platform and stuff like that?
Yeah. But see, in the early days, the Wairio branch faced Riverton at Thornbury.
Mm. So all trains from Invercargill would reverse going to Nightcaps now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they normally went to Riverton and then back.
Oh yeah.
They didn't. It was only the goods trains would stop at Thornbury and reverse.
Yeah.
Or they would leave their tonnage and go to turn their engines and go to Invercargill. It's way back in the early days, there's reports of a 100 wagon train from Nightcaps to Thornbury, with an F.
Unbraked, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, a few handbrakes down.
Yeah.
But with an 800-ton train with an AB, he'd steam out of Wairio Yard, and then he didn't have to steam again till he got to Thornbury.
Slightly downhill.
Yeah, slightly downhill or downhill. There's a few steps that come down, you brake on them. But there's a wee bit of an uphill there at Ringway. But
what can you remember about the what can you remember about the Tuatapere Yard, Graham? Chris Dawson mentioned today that at the north end of Tuatapere Yard there was a siding that came off and went across the road to look like a loading bank in the 1950s, just before the river. What was that used for? Can you remember?
Well, the whole of that side was Thompson Mackenzie sawmill.
Okay.
And they used to load the timber, so the rails run right up to the riverbank.
That's right. He said the siding sort of across the road went up on an angle and stopped just before the river. Yeah. That's sort of we're still researching that, but
But that was, well and truly left years after Thompson and Mackenzie sawmill closed.
Okay.
The siding was still there for years after that.
Mm.
But then right next to it was 2 more roads for their sheep yards and that. And the sheep yards track was the old shear track.
Okay. So Taurau was quite busy.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, in the early days when we were kids, lived in Tuatapere.
Okay.
There was the station master and the chief clerk and sundry office girls, and then there used to be at least 2 shunters. So,
Quite busy.
yeah. Well, there was 8 trains a day.
Yeah. Do you know anything about the Browns branch? Can you tell us about that?
Not a hell of a lot.
Not at the moment, but
No,
yeah.
yeah. Next month's Ralph and
Okay. Oh, that's right. You're right there. Yes, yeah. So there we go.
Oh, you got an article coming up?
No,
It's another
Jim
bloke.
Brown and
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
Dave
right.
McKellen.
Yeah, so that should be quite good because I'm
Yeah.
interested in a few bits.
And did it take very long for all the semaphore signals from here to go?
Huh?
From the yard, all the semaphore signals they had in the Invercargill yard?
Oh, they went out in fits and starts. They took out the top end ones first, and then later on they took out. As a matter of fact, it's just a few weeks ago, Jim Brown rang me up, wanted to know when the old South signal box disappeared, so I had to go back through my diaries.
Mm.
Yeah.
I found 1991, I think it was.
That sounds about
No, or
right.
89. Not sure whether it was 89 or
And did
91.
it take long to lift the track, like north of Makareva,
Oh,
up to Lumsden and that?
no. Didn't take them long because they lifted that in sets. And it was sold. It went that way.
Oh,
The railway sold it as is.
oh really?
Yeah.
Graham, I don't know how long your association with railways in Southlands is. I'm sorry, but I just wonder if you know what contribution tramway traffic or timber mill traffic would have made to the lines Tuatapere, Catlins.
Oh, well, that's what they were for.
Yeah,
If it wasn't meant for the timber traffic, there was nothing.
yeah. Do you remember any particular tramways that contributed the most or were most unusual? The one at Longwood, perhaps?
Oh, well, the Longwood probably was the biggest contributor.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself was a big thing. Moore's Mill. To get off the subject now, there's one of Moore's Mill's old locos, an old Johnson
Yes.
up in the forest at the back of Otautau. But the bloody hoons have been shooting at it and so forth. And a while ago, the Conservation Department decided that they were going to, do away with it. And so there's been protest meetings and all sorts of things, and they've got great plans, but it's sort of finding $500,000 for something to happen is the problem. They've had some meetings out at Thornbury, good turnouts. I go out for a wee nosy, and the lady from the Department of Conservation, she's pretty good. We get on all right, and so they had a joker, Jim Staten from Hokitika.
Yeah, he's from the Department of
Yeah.
Conservation there.
Yeah, he
the
was
main
down
bushman, yeah.
to do sort of a recommendation on it and so forth. But there was a move afoot to shift it down to the Early Settlers Museum at Riverton, but anyhow, they didn't want it. It wasn't going to work in with their scheme of things, although but the other clowns wanted to take it to Tuatapere. Well, the bloody thing never worked in Tuatapere. The Lions Club at Otautau wanted it to take it to Otautau, again, leave it in the bush because that's where it bloody worked.
Mm.
Yeah.
And just, you can't win or lose.
And you remember the trams here in Invercargill?
Aye.
The city trams.